this video, I'm going to talk about graphing two variable equations. When we talk about two variable equations, we usually use x as our input value and y as our output value. We also refer to these equations as linear equations, and there's three forms that we need to know. The first form is point-slope form. Point-slope form. For this form, we need a point on the line and the slope to write the equation. The second form is slope-intercept form. This is the one we use the most. Slope-intercept form. And the last form that we need to know is standard form. All right, for point-slope form, the equation is y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times x minus x sub 1. M, when we talk about the parameters of this equation, m represents the slope. X sub 1 comma y sub 1 represents any point, just a point on the line. A point on the line. So all we need for point-slope form to write the equation, we need the slope, and we need 1 point on the line. Just 1 point on the line. All right, for slope-intercept form, the equation is y is equal to mx plus b. M represents the slope again, and b represents the y-intercept. That's where the line intersects with the y-axis. So to write an equation in slope-intercept form, the only things that you need to know are the slope, and you need to know the y-intercept. For standard form, the equation is ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. A, b, and c need to be integers, so they're integers. The slope, to find the slope in this, if you have standard form, it is negative a over b. So the coefficient of x, that negative coefficient of x, over the coefficient of y. So this here is the slope. All right, one important thing that you should remember from Algebra 1 is to find the slope, to find what m is, I do the change in y over the change in x. So that's going to be the formula to find the slope. You can also write that if you don't like using those symbols. You can write it as I can take y sub 2, subtract y sub 1, and put that over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Right. Okay, so graphing from slope-intercept form. If I have an example in slope-intercept form, so let's say I have y is equal to negative 1 over 3 x plus 2. The first thing that I can take from this is that my slope is negative 1 over 3. So I know that my slope is negative 1 over 3, and that means that I'm going down 1. I can write this actually up here. This means I'm going down 1 and to the right 3. So that's how I'm going to move from my y-intercept. That's the important point that I'm going to plot first if I have the slope-intercept form. And that y-intercept is 0, 2. So my y-intercept is 0, 2. I get that from my b. I'm going to put that point on this graph, so 0, 2. And then I know, because I have the slope is down 1, right 3, From that point, I'm going down 1 over 1, 2, 3 right here. Down 1 over 3. Down 1 over 3. And then if I wanted to start from here and go backwards, I would go up 1 to the left 3. Up 1 to the left 3. Up 1 to the left 3. And it should look like a straight line. I put a straight line through this. And there's my line. I need to make sure I'm including these arrows at the end to indicate that this line is going on forever. It's infinite. Alright, and just to clarify, this is our y-intercept. Alright, for graphing from standard form, an example in standard form is if I have 2x plus 3y is equal to, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot the c, plus 6 is equal to 0. Or actually, let's do minus 12 is equal to 0. To graph in standard form, I think the easiest way to do this is to bring this c to the other side of our equation. So I'll add 12 on both sides. I'll get 2x plus 3y is equal to 12. Then I can find 2 points that are going to be on this line, and I can connect those 2 points. The easiest points for me to find are substituting in x is equal to 0 and y is equal to 0. So if I put in for x is equal to 0, this equation is just the 2x will go away because 2 times 0 is 0. And I'll just have 3y is equal to 12. I'll divide both sides by 3, and I will get that y is equal to 4. So from that, I get the point 0, 4. That's 1 point on my line. The next thing I'm going to do is plug in y is equal to 0. When I do that, the 3y goes away, and I'm left with 2x is equal to 12. For my original equation, I'm dividing both sides by 2, and I get x is equal to 6. So the point I get from that is 6, 0. X is 6, y is 0. I'm going to plot those 2 points, so I have 0, 4, and 6, 0. So 0, 4, and 6, 0. And then I connect those two. You can do a better job than that. And there's my line. For point slope form, an example, maybe I have y minus 2 is equal to 5 over 2 times x minus 3. From this, I know, first and foremost, the slope is the coefficient I have for the expression x minus 3. That's my slope. So I know that m is equal to 5 over 2. This is the change in y over the change in x. So I know that the way that I'll be moving from whatever point I find on the line is I will be moving up 5 and to the right 2. So that's how I'll be moving. And the important point that I can pull from this is, I meant to do the highlighter, is I'm going to take that 2 from there and that 3 from there. And this is going to tell me that I have the point 3, where x is 3 and y is 2. And I'm going to plot that point first, so 3, 2. I'm going to plot that first. And then I'm going to plot the other points based on the slope that I have. So up 5 to the right 2, up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to the right 2. And I'm going to go to the left of the blue points, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down, and to the left 2. And then I connect these, and that is my line. All right, on the next page, you should be able to write equations given 2 points. So when you are given 2 points, the easiest form for you to use is point slope form. That's the easiest form for you to use. All you have to find is what the slope is. You already have a point. The second easiest form to use is slope intercept. So unless it asks you, if it doesn't ask you for a specific form, I would recommend you use the point slope form. All right, so if I wanted to use these 2 points to find point slope form, what I would do is, what I recommend doing before anything else is taking those 2 points and putting them on top of each other. So you can, it makes it a lot easier to find your slope and not mess up. So if you put the 2 points on top of each other, it's really easy to make sure you're subtracting 1 point from the other and you're not mixing up your x's and your y's. So if I look at my change from my first point to my second point, my change in y, I know that change is 1. If I look from my first point to my second point, what's my change in x? My change in x is going to be 3. So my slope, m, is equal to the change in y over the change in x, and I know the change in y is 1, and the change in x is 3. So I have the slope is equal to 1 over 3. I already have a point. I can make my equation now. That's it. I have the 1 point is 2, 8. I'm going to use that point. So I have y minus 8 is equal to my slope, 1/3, times x minus 2. And that is my slope, point slope form. To get from point slope form to slope intercept form, I just have to do a little bit of algebra to this equation that I already have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that equation, I'm just going to do it here, and then I'll draw an arrow. So I have y minus 8 is equal to 1/3 times x minus 2. The easiest thing I think that you could do here, and let me rewrite this a little bit different. The easiest thing I think you can do here is, I don't like to work with fractions. I like to bust up the fractions, get rid of them if I can. So I want to get rid of this 3 in the denominator. I want to just get rid of that fraction. So I'm going to multiply this side by 3. I'm going to do the same thing to the left-hand side because I have to keep my equation balanced. Then I'll have 3y when I distribute this 3. I'll have 3y minus 24 is equal to, when I multiply 3 times 1 over 3, these 3's cancel out, and I'm left with just 1. So 1 times x minus 2, which is just x minus 2. The 3 times the 1/3 cancels it out. That's what we intended. Then I'm going to add 24 on both sides. I'll get 3y is equal to x plus 22. And then I will divide both sides by 3 because I need to get the y by itself. That's important for point slope intercept form. So I have y is equal to x divided by 3. I can rewrite as 1/3 x plus, and I'm just going to leave this as an improper fraction, 22 over 3. And that is my slope intercept form. To get to standard form, I'm going from slope intercept form. So I have y is equal to 1/3 x plus 22 over 3. I think the easiest thing, again, is to get rid of those 3's in the denominator by multiplying the right-hand side by 3. If I do that to the right, I have to do that to the left. I'll get 3y is equal to 3 times 1/3 x is just x. 3 times 22 over 3 is just 22. And now all I need to do is get everything to one side. So the easiest thing for me to do is subtract 3y. Since there's only one thing on the left, I want to move it to the right because I want 0 on one side for standard form. I'm going to have 0 is equal to x minus 3y plus 22, which if you want to write it like this, you can. And I need to make sure that all the coefficients and c also are integers, so they have to be whole numbers. And that's it.